Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In this video I will discuss India's second independence. So they had the first independence from Great Britain, and I think they are in the process of gaining the second one from the globalists and from Al Capone. Al Capone would like to have as many people in their gang, in their criminal organization, but India is running as fast as possible. Not because necessarily they don't like Al Capone, it's because they are doing what everyone should do. Look for your own interest. And that's exactly what India does. Other countries don't do that, not because they wouldn't like it, because they can't. Too small, or they already have their traitors in charge of the nations. Too many countries like that. That is, you got the guys in charge of you, democratically elected, promoted, pushed up, doors open by outside interest. Therefore, you are politically occupied. But before you have that, you have to have mass media also occupied. Why? Because the mass media shapes opinion, correct? So, in order to go and vote, you're going to vote based on what kind of information? Mass media. If mass media is controlled and parrots you a narrative, you're going to go with that one to vote. You're not going to have time, because you work too hard, to pick up other articles, other angles, other points of view. We don't have time, most of us, or most of them. Now, here, Russia Today. India will no longer be swayed, I'm quoting, swayed by imported prescriptions. And here is my guy. Here is Dr. Jaishankar. He is the foreign minister. He's called India Foreign Minister I can't pronounce that. Let me put my glasses. Subrahmanyam Jaishankar. This is a doctor. He's intelligent. He's ballsy. He's fast. I like the guy. And he's very, very diplomatic. This or Lavrov or Peter Giarto of Hungary. These are three diplomats. These are not Borrell, not infantile Annalena Baerbock of Germany, definitely not this guy Blinken, who I don't think he works for our interest. He works for a foreign interest, and foreign, not necessarily a country interest. Now, let's see what Dr. Jaishankar had to say at an attack coming from Biden. And not only Biden. This is just the tip of the iceberg, something that we see, but underneath it's more. It's more to that. Dr. Jaishankar did not just jump up off his chair and said, "Oh, we have." No. It's been a process. It's been a process. And since India has been pressured by Western countries with bribes, when I say bribes, I will explain, with political threats, they ended up trying to conduct some spontaneous revolution, ethnic and religious revolution in India. Then they told the Indians that they are xenophobic. Biden. Why? Because they don't accept immigration. Like you are the what? The example for the rest of the world? Yes. Why? Because I say so. Why? Who the fuck are you? Anyway, as Putin said in one of his answers to a question, who elected these guys to lecture everyone, to tell them what to do? Who told them they can do that? Who gave them the right? That was it. Who gave them the right? You can still find on YouTube. Who gave the West the right to lecture everyone? Who the f are you? As Nigel Farage, if you remember, he said that in the European Union Council, whatever, the Parliament, whatever they have over there, when he was still there, to the new elected that Belgian guy that was elected, Rompuy, von Rompuy. Who are you? I don't know who you are. Nobody knows who you are. Who are you? Yeah, and then he says certain funny things over there. Now let's go back here. Go and watch that video with Nigel Farage. Subrahmanyam Jaishankar says the country will view foreign policy primarily through the lens of his national interests. It's in the books, United Nations and America says promotes that, but in practice, no, you do what I tell you, otherwise smack. New Delhi. is no longer swayed, I'm quoting, by imported prescriptions when formulating its foreign policy and measures all things in terms of its national interests. The country's external affairs minister Subrahmanyam Jaishankar asserted in a column in the Indian Express. He also suggested that in a world where, and I'm quoting, everything is being weaponized, it is vital for the country to ensure that its strategic capabilities are developed in-house. And I'm quoting, swayed by imported prescriptions, we've sometimes subordinated our own goals for the benefit of others, Jaishankar noted. The big change in India now, according to Jaishankar, is that there is a strong sense of Bharat first, America first. Bharat is the name for the country in several Indian languages. It is also being championed as the new political concept by the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party. And I'm quoting, politically, Bharat is a statement of independence. I didn't read this article. It's strange that I named it, or at least for me, independence. J Shankar declared last year, shedding light on the new policy, and I'm quoting, it is a declaration that as India engages the world, it doesn't have to be done necessarily in the terms set by others or in the frameworks determined by others. The economic financial system is a Western financial system. Look how Russia was kicked out of it when it didn't follow the prescription, the orders. Just like that. Do you think that other countries don't see that? Well, the problem is most countries cannot do anything. Why? They're too small, too weak. Al Capone is too close or too strong, and there's no alternative. Hey, there is an alternative. BRICS, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. They are forming it right now. Therefore, India is going to play at both ends, which, that's a bazaar out there, if you're allowed to do it. But if you're not allowed, you got to take that. All right, take it. In his latest column, J Shankar also argued that his new policy has encouraged it to pursue a multi-vector diplomacy that would maximize our partners and minimize our problems. It is in its engagements with allies in the Quad or BRICS, I2U2, as Shanghai Cooperation Organization or East Asia Summit, India's interests have been, and I'm quoting, at the core of its calculations. Good. This sounds like a revolutionary act. Remember, like in times of deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act, according to George Orwell's dystopian novel 1982. These things that Dr. J Shankar says here should be, common knowledge. What's so extraordinary, Emil? It is extraordinary because we are in a world more than before where we are propagandized with a mirage, with a vision, with a false reality. And when we say, wait a minute, and we're supposed to operate in that mirage, in that garbage. And when we come and say, wait a minute, but the emperor has no clothes, you are called names. Because why? They don't have the counter arguments to say it ain't so. So that's why certain things that are, for some of us, should be ABC 1, 2, 3, for most people are not. And I know that because they vote. And the way they vote, or at least if we agree that they vote. But how those things are, that's a different story. Okay, so how they vote and the direct conversations, what I read, I listen to people. I understand that these guys buy into this, some of them call it matrix, which it's perfect word for what we live. So I'm quoting. Observed, adding that these initiatives have often involved partners who are at odds with each other. Correct. And I'm quoting. Where we have to take a stand, we do not hesitate or come under pressure. Jaishankar wrote, despite constant scrutiny from the West, who gave them the right, they took it. Jaishankar has repeatedly advocated maintaining robust ties with Russia at the new Munich Security Conference held in February. He argued that India should be admired for its balanced relationship with partners in the West, this is where he's ballsy, as well as countries like Russia, Iran, and others that are heavily sanctioned. Now let me tell you that little, as I said, bribe. They don't call it bribe, they call it in investments. We invest, but you have to change that. Or we campaign, or we donate, campaign donations. No, I do this because I want you not to support what you say. I want you to do what I say. The more I give you, the more you will listen to me. The less I give you, I can get rid of you. You become important by the donation. So if you remember, after it stopped now, it stopped. The tables were set. After the Russians attacked Ukraine unprovoked, right? February 24th, 2022, there was about a year, or maybe a year and a half, but it was like up and then all of a sudden stopped. A competition, a global competition between foreign ministers of Russia on one side, and then Germany, France, United States of America, even Japan, they were competing. They were all over the place. When Lavrov went to Africa, these guys followed him. When these guys went over there in South America, Lavrov was after them. It was like, they give you $5, I give you $5.25. But, and a smile. Okay, so that's it is. That was a smile. So that's the way it was then. And right after that, Japan was sent on a mission to India. If you remember, the Prime Minister of Japan showed up in India and they promised the Indians, the Indian government, it was 42 or 40 billion dollars investments from Japan, who's going bankrupt as we speak because of their beautiful policies. That's why their Prime Minister has like what? 18% approval rating, but that's democracy. You don't have the imperium, you don't have the right to rule. What are you talking about? Well, I was elected one time, I can fuck you up for the rest of my term. That's democracy. So he came over there and told these guys, if you, we're gonna invest. And that was we're gonna give this to you, invest with what money? The banking system. You want some money, how much you want? 1, and then 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. How many more you want me? 0, 0, 0, 0. How many zeros you want to put? This finger can do this many, many times. It's not about if we have them or we don't. How do you think these guys just have money, the banks? Calculations, they backed by what? By their wives' asses backed. So, and why? Because they try to sway India into imposing sanctions on Russian oil and don't do business with them. And then when India said, no, we're going to do business with you, and we're going to do business with everybody else where the interest dictates our interest. Japan was not interested in investing anymore. Why is that? There was a bribe right there. It was a bribe. They didn't invest. Why? Because they said, no, we're going to do it with whomever we think. If the Japanese, they told me the Japanese were not over there on their own accord, they were sent by the boss. Who's the boss? Who has troops in your fucking country is your boss. Oh, he's over there to defend us. I mean, again, Matrix. So, yes, India is pursuing its own policy. One thing that some of us are concerned with is when these real people die, do they have anybody ready as a second echelon? You know what I'm talking about. I can name some countries. One is west of Ukraine and others. Or let's say in Hungary or countries like this. If when these guys go, like Jaishankar, Modi, they go, who's the next? Do they have it ready to continue? Or the next one are just the ones that are waiting? Yes, USA, wait for these guys. We can't do it right now. They're going to die and then you help me and I help you. You scratch my balls, I'm going to scratch your balls. Or you scratch my balls, I suck your balls, basically. That's what it is. Anyway, This is what a lot of people ask. Okay, Putin, evil Putin dies. Okay, who's there? Who's next? I say, well, that's it, enough. They're all in the 70s. Besides, what's his name, Mr. Medvedev, which I still have doubts. I'm waiting for Medvedev shoe to fall from the other foot in Medvedev. He's too tough, too tough. When you don't want to draw attention into being, he's a spy, he's working with the other guys, you overdo it, and then you draw attention. So I have a big magnifying glass on Mr. Medvedev. All right, my friends, here it is. Good job, India. Fulfill your destiny. Look for your own country's and nation's interests as any other country. And don't let yourself, and it seems they already won the war, the psychological war, the pressure these guys are, the blackmails, the regime change. The only thing that the West, the Americans and the Brits have towards India have secret services, spies, intelligence, the guys who are gonna ignite an uprising, a spontaneous protest. And then from there it's gonna grow, and this guy's gonna pull on Jaishankar and Modi a Gaddafi. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Do you think that these guys are more different than the guys in the 40s or 30s or medieval times? Or no. They just pretend. They scratch their balls in the same way. When nobody looks, they do the same way. Anyway, because it's a need. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.